are back with another episode of Internal Life Matters with two of my favorite guests. Autumn, thank you for returning with your handsome husband, both my amazing cousins, Jalen, in the house. We are going to continue the conversation that we had from the soul wounds and how taking soul wounds from your childhood goes right into your relationship. So that is hot topic.
Right.
Many don't want to talk about. So I'm thanking you in advance. No judgment here. Love you guys. I got a lot of soul wounds that God is healing me from now. So I just want you to share what we discussed in our first episode about the soul wounds and the trauma you experienced, the rejection, the hurt, overcoming some of it, but still having triggers, and you took that into a relationship. How did you, marry that together? And then how did you accept it? It's like, hey, you gorgeous and all, but yeah, that's it. I ain't signed up for that. Like, how did that come together? I just want you to unpack that. Whoever wants to go first.
Well, I'll start with,
Okay.
I think at first it was a big, kind of trying to fix each other in a sense, or trying to force my way of thinking onto Autumn and then vice versa.
Okay.
And that caused a lot of just the butting of the heads there.
Literally.
Right.
Okay.
Right. It was, with both of us having previous trauma and then, coming together and just thinking that, well, just my way of thinking is just going to be forced upon her, and that, that's how it's going to be. And, she needs to think this way and not the other way around.
Oh my.
But, you don't know what you don't know.
True.
And until you have a better understanding of your own trauma and where that all comes from, and then understanding your partner's trauma as well, then it becomes a pick your battles type situation.
Okay.
And it's
okay.
You can't change their past. You can't change your own past.
Yes.
And
preach.
You can come to as good a terms as you can with your own trauma. And then as far as theirs, you just kind of have to take it in stride.
Okay.
You find other small ways to live with it. And, it's great to see Autumn grow in her own ways.
Yes.
And grow through that trauma.
Okay.
But, you marry that person, you marry the baggage that comes with them.
Absolutely.
And you just take it for what it is. And on a day-to-day basis, there's good days, there's bad days. And, on the bad days, you find ways to just kind of deal with it.
That's the part, because, I'm in therapy right now listening to y'all. So when you say find ways to deal with it, what are those ways? Because if I'm having all of this trauma, my trauma could cause me to hit you in those ways. Like, what? Who you talking to? Bow. So you know what I'm saying? So when you say find ways, what are those ways that's healthy versus screaming, yelling, throwing stuff, cheating, threatening you that I'm going to leave, grabbing your credit card and over shopping. That's my therapy. Help me, Lord. Going to the store to buy one thing, you spent $300. So, you know what I mean? So when you say find a way to deal with it, what's your version of that?
Well, I guess the better way to say that is a healthy way to deal with that. Because, if your partner is doing something in an unhealthy way towards you, a lot of times you're going to respond in another unhealthy way, which is what you were just saying. And I think a lot of it comes down to just patience and willpower. And step one is just recognizing first that...
Let me take notes because I'm in therapy. Hold on. Recognizing, okay.
It's just, in my experience, my opinion here.
Recognize, okay.
I take this all with one massive grain of salt.
Okay.
But recognizing, okay, where this is coming from, a lot of this is probably not, in our case, Autumn's decision to act this way. This comes from her childhood, from the way that she was raised.
Okay.
and just so recognizing is, step one.
Okay.
And then from there, if it's not, physically being hit, that's one thing.
Okay.
Verbally, if it's just, I guess to say verbal abuse or, being yelled at, screamed at, whatever it may be. To me, and I don't know if it's healthy or not, but it's just hold your tongue. Try and be patient.
Okay.
Try, because words are the only thing that, you can't take them back.
Teach.
So if I lash out and say something back in response,
tit for tat.
well, right, then it becomes a tit for tat thing. It's like, I'd rather just, let her just keep going, and don't feed the flames anymore. Because then eventually, once things have calmed down, then you can have a calmer discussion.
I love that.
Which is way easier said than done.
True. Right. That's what I was thinking in my head. I was like, wow, he just got that just so cool. Because I'm thinking, while you're not lashing out, which is good, are you still harboring, like burning up on the inside?
Yes.
Like I ask my friends that all the time. They're like, baby, don't even say nothing. Let him fuss. And I ain't even gonna argue. And I'm like, but yeah, I could be quiet, but if I'm pissed off and burning on the inside, I'm not getting the ulcer. You know what I'm saying? So how do you stay calm and not lash out? Because if not, I might as well just I'm not gonna yell, but you're gonna get this smoke. Like, because if not, now my inside's burning, chest hurting.
Right. That's what I struggle with the most.
Okay.
It's just keeping that cool, like maintaining that.
Okay.
Because it's different if it's for like 30 seconds, a minute.
Okay.
But if it's like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, then it's almost like a fuse that's just it's just burning down to the very end.
Wow.
Explodes. So again, I'm not perfect. It's still something that I struggle with
applaud you
now.
for that maturity, even recognizing that.
But that's I would love to hear if there's another way of dealing with his opinion or whatever. But
I think it's bio individual because I think it's based on who you're in a relationship with. Because if I used to be witness to someone could be, like you said, you want to be quiet, you want to walk away, but my walking away to maintain peace is rejection to the other person. So now they're chasing me. I'm like, I'm trying to keep from busting you in the head. Right. You're gonna chase me? You want to fight?
Right. So I'm an anxious attachment style.
Okay.
So they're not really. I would say that's anxious attachment. So like I can't relax until I feel resolved. I can't walk away from the conversation until I feel better.
Even if I say give me 15 minutes.
If you say that, because like Jalen and I, when we would have arguments, there wouldn't be, hey, I'm really upset and I need 15 minutes to cool off. It was more like we attacked each other for a while and then he would try to walk away and I'm like, we're not done. We're going to finish this conversation. Like, are you serious? Yeah. How are you going to call me names and this and that and then try to walk away? You can't do that.
Get my points back, right?
Yeah. Like, I'm not going to sit here and let you just say whatever and then I'm done.
Right.
So I'm done talking now.
Right.
Like,
the men are always over at first.
Because once I cross a certain like bridge, I can't walk away because I'm anxious. I have to get it out and I have to finish whatever my thought is. I have to finish. And also, like I was telling you in the last episode, I need to understand.
Absolutely.
So like I need to understand why he's upset. I need to understand why he's saying whatever he's saying. And I'm going to keep talking to you until I understand what you mean. So it's like maybe I'm a little slow. Sometimes I don't get things right away. And I have to keep asking questions.
I think we're sisters, not cousins. Yeah. Sisters,
but Jalen is somebody who's triggered by multiple questions. Like he does not like
interrogated.
Yeah, he doesn't like being asked a million questions.
Rapid fire.
Yeah, and for me, it's like I have to ask questions, and it's like he thinks a lot of the times Jalen would be like, "Why do you keep asking questions you know the answer to?" I'm not. I literally don't know the answer. You know what I mean? Like I have an inkling, but I'm trying to keep from putting false things in my own head.
Got it.
Like I need you to give me your answer, and I'll keep asking the same question. Because I want to make sure that I understand you. And he'll be like,
your myths.
Right. And for Jalen, I think he would always say like, oh, you keep asking the same question because you want a different response. And it's like, not really. I just
looking for trouble.
I'm asking because I want to make sure I'm correct. Okay. I want to make sure that I really get what you're saying.
Okay.
And so I can put whatever that I had in my head, put that away. Because as I don't know, as an anxious person, I anticipate bad things happening. So I'm anticipating him cheating. I'm anticipating him leaving. I'm anticipating him, I don't know, doing bad things behind my back. I'm anticipating, I'm anticipating him being not on my side. So it's like I have to ask questions to make sure that that's not what's going on.
Okay.
And I don't know. I think
is that triggered from the trauma you had in the past though?
Yeah, because my parents, there's like, there was no talking. There was no, this is why this is happening. Like, there's so many situations where I was like, why did you do this? And they had no explanation.
Wow.
Like,
so that's no understanding, no closure.
Yeah, no.
Wow.
And it, like, even with finances, my parents had, honestly, I feel like it's financial abuse. Like they had access to my bank accounts and my money. And whenever birthdays would come, holidays would come, they would take the money. Ooh. And I never saw some of that money, right? So it's like that was a big issue in our marriage because Jalen handles finances and I don't really get to see money, right?
See that.
So I'm like, okay, you're holding this out on me. You're purposely not sharing things with me because I'm not important to make decisions, even though it's not my money technically. Or like you don't want to share money with me, because I would ask him, you know, randomly like, hey, can I get my nails done? Can I have some money? And he'll tell me he doesn't have it. But then he was like, he bought a bottle like a couple of days prior. I'll be like, how did you have money to buy a Patron bottle, but you don't have money to give me to go get my nails done? And it was just a constant argument because I was like, I'm going through the same thing I went through as a teenager where I felt poor in my own household, even though my provider was not poor, but me as an individual was poor.
Okay.
And I mean, yes, I'm an adult now and I should have my own things and I should like not depend on a person. But when you get married, you like, I don't know, as a woman, I had an expectation that he was my husband and now we are one.
Right.
So like what money you have is the money I have.
Right.
And if I don't work, I didn't work because of Khalif. Then I, you know, Khalif being autistic and like, I had many health complications after birth and stuff like that. And then just being burned out from being a parent and dealing with a special needs child. It was just like really hard to focus on money. Like I did work in that time. Don't think that I didn't do anything for money. I did. But it was just like side things. Like I didn't have like a 9 to 5. Like just, you know, did little small business things here and there, but I didn't do anything like concrete.
Okay.
So, but to talk on the argument thing and how do you, like, what is your coping mechanism that's like healthy?
Yes.
I don't have one right now. I'll be honest with you. I don't have one. I try my hardest though to think about what I'm saying before I say it.
That's good. That's
because that's another thing Jalen was saying is like you can't take words back. And me and Jalen have had many of arguments where we both have said things we absolutely did not mean, but it's something that stuck with both of us, like the words that we had said to each other. And even just like the things we've done to each other based out of spite.
Right.
And we both have been like, all right, like I think we did it enough to each other to where we were almost going to break up. Aww. And then we realized, all right, we need to stop doing this shit. Cause we're on the same team.
Yeah.
On the same team. Like
that's the word.
We're on the same team.
Not competing.
Another thing, me and Jalen have a bond just like past marriage because of Khalif. He's the only other person in the entire world who understands what I'm going through.
Wow.
With Khalif, because nobody else.
True.
You know, like there's no other human on earth that has the same experience as me with Khalif.
100%.
Because his teachers don't see it. His grandparents don't see it. Our friends don't see it. Nobody sees it because Khalif, he's not around them enough. And also Khalifa's good at masking. So if he feels uncomfortable, he's not going to throw a fit.
Okay.
He's not going to bite me in public or he's not going to pinch me. He'll throw a tantrum, but he's not going to physically harm me in public because I don't know why he just doesn't feel comfortable enough to do it. Wow. It's mostly at home when it's the most awful.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Jalen's the only other person in the world that it witnesses my every single day thing.
Wow.
So, like, I don't know.
But you're not staying together for the child. You're staying together because you love each other.
Yeah, we definitely love each other. Because we thought about it. I mean, we planned it. We planned a breakup. We were like, we could get a divorce. We could figure it out.
Wow.
But we just ultimately came to the decision, like, it's not our marriage, it's us individually.
Come on.
We kept saying, like, all right, if we break up, we're gonna have these same problems with someone else. Because we're not doing doing the work.
Right.
We could change the,
which is another kind of another thing, but sorry, I was just gonna say, I think nowadays, I sound old, but people have
everyone's disposable.
You're right. Everyone is disposable, and we've hit this kind of age where everything is so about me and like self-help, self-growth, which is all great. But I think it's almost to a point where it's a fault.
Come on.
Where it's at the expense of anybody else. And to a degree where it doesn't matter how you treat somebody else. Where it's like, yes, you should always respect yourself highly, but you shouldn't have to put somebody else down or just say, F them. I'm going to kick them to the curb. I'm going to do me. It's like, yes, but are you saying that because you just want to do whatever you want to do and you don't want to be questioned or have to have any kind of accountability?
Good point.
Or are you just saying that because the relationship or the whatever it was, friendship was that bad to the point where you had to kick that person to the curb out of your life? But yeah, I think so many people now are just like, oh, block them.
Yeah.
Break up with them. Kick them out of your life. And it's like, everything is not Instagram. Everything's not Facebook.
Come on.
Sometimes maybe that relationship is worth mending.
Yes.
Because it's like, what does it say about you if you can't seem to communicate with somebody effectively enough to at least keep them as a friend or a family member, and instead of just
no maturity?
Oh, it's easy to just block them,
discard.
Right. And I don't know. I just feel like people kind of hold themselves so high now, where it comes at the expense of everybody else.
That's so
and
true.
Not working on their own communication skills.
That's
also not even
that was
like
good.
Not just communication, but like your character.
Right.
Would you be your own friend?
Come on here.
Would you be your own partner?
Right.
Like, I think about that all the time, and whenever like.
And would you allow what you're doing to others to be done?
Yeah,
to you?
like would you want to have a friend like you? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I don't know. I've gone through. I've lost like quite a few friendships recently, and it was because I was voicing my opinion, but I wasn't trying to change anyone else's opinion.
Okay.
But I have always been trying to mold myself into something, and I'm done doing that.
Come on.
I'm done doing that because like if I think something and that's what I think, I'm gonna leave it and that's what I think. And I just come to find out that nowadays no one has an open mind.
Come on.
Nobody can disagree and still be friends.
People like to say that they do until the rubber meets the road.
Until it's really close to home, and it's like everybody does not have to agree.
Come on.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
I can be friends with somebody who believes in something I don't believe in.
That's right.
And I'm not going to sit here and tell you you're wrong. Because, like, do I really know if you're wrong?
Right.
If there's no, if it's an opinion-based thing and there's no irrefutable proof to show that you are wrong.
Don't break your friendship.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm not going to be friends with you because you don't want to wear pink.
Right. Exactly.
Like, you don't have to like pink. That's my favorite color. But if you think pink is ugly, okay, I'm still gonna be your friend because you like blue.
Exactly.
That's fine.
That's maturity.
I don't want friends that are just like me.
Carbon copies of you.
Yeah.
Right.
Except, well, my best friend, me and her are like two peas in a pod, but she does have like different opinions and she does have different like style and like values than I do.
That's what makes us unique.
Right. But I'm not like bashing her like, damn, I would never do that. I
Right.
can't be your friend.
Right.
I can't be your friend.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. There's like a fine line for that though, because I don't know. In a relationship, when you're married though, or like you're dating somebody, that also have to take that into account. Like, are you willing to be married to somebody who doesn't believe in your same core values? Because I notice a lot of people get divorced when they start figuring out that their partner doesn't actually believe in what they believe in.
Knew that first.
Exactly. And like, honestly, to me, at first I was like, nah, I gotta be with somebody who believes what I believe. But my opinion has changed since I was 20, since I was 21, since I was 25, even till last year, because I think your opinion changes on experience. Yeah. So it's like, who am I to tell him? His life experience is different than mine. Right. So I can't be like, wow, why don't you believe in such and such? I can't be married to you because you don't believe in wiping the counters down.
Right. Making your bed every morning.
Yeah.
Right. And it loops back to kind of what I was saying earlier with the trauma that you bring into a relationship. Just like someone else's opinion, you kind of just have to accept it for what it is, because you cannot change it. You're not going to change someone's opinion, and you can't change their previous history. So even though you may not agree with it, it's like, okay, what am I willing to accept? And then what is that boundary where it's like, that's just a no-go. Okay. But obviously you want to figure that out before you get into a conversation.
That's what I was just getting ready to ask you. How long do you, like, for someone who's listening or will listen to this episode and they're saying, well, what are my signs? Should I look at that for the first 6 months? Should I, because people can fake.
Right.
They give their representative. So it's like, do I do? And then I know someone who intentionally do things to push those triggers, which is so annoying to me. Just let it be natural, but don't aggravate people on purpose. They'll push triggers on purpose to see the reaction they get. They'll say no on purpose to see the reaction they get. Right. They'll say they're gonna do something and then don't do it to see the reaction. I'm just like, what is happening? Like, let it be authentic, but that fake provoking, I don't like that. But I get the concept to see, okay, are you mature? Are you hurt? Are you rejected? How do you take no? Are you a spoiled brat? So it's like, okay, if you're gonna keep doing that, that's annoying. But how long do you put up with that before you know what? I can work with this, or this is way past my parameters to deal with. Like, how long do you, because when you got the googly eyes, you be like, it's okay. Right. So when do you know enough is enough?
Personally, with Jalen, I wish that I asked these things on our first date.
Okay.
Honestly, before you catch feelings for somebody, like on your, say you meet somebody online and you're meeting them for the first time, ask all those heavy questions then.
I thought they'd run them off.
Not for real. Like, I mean, try, like,
all right, I just want to go out for coffee.
But I feel like that's the only way that you're gonna get like a genuine response is because if they get to know you and they get to figure out what you like,
they can manipulate
they
you.
could just say whatever they know you want to hear.
Ah, that's true.
So I mean, obviously not like, when do you want to get married and things like that, but like, do you want kids? Okay. What do you think about finances? How do you not to be too nosy about like what they make, but like, what is yours? Like, how do you save? What is, things like that, or like, religion, like, how are you brought up? Like, I don't know.
Politics.
Yeah. I mean, I try,
how do you raise
politics is whatever, but, I don't know, things like that. Like, do you go to the gym?
That's one on my list.
Right.
Yeah. Like, do you have
1 to 10? How important is the gym to you?
Yes. Right. That's a good one. Thank you.
To me, it's a 2.
To me, it's a non-existent 0.
But if they're like 6,
right?
Yes, I can work with that. Yes.
Or like, do you have a regulated sleep schedule? Do you go to bed at a certain time? Do you wake up at a certain time? Does your life revolve around clubbing?
Mm-hmm.
Do you really like going out?
Mm-hmm.
Are you a homebody?
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather stay in? Like think about what you want in a partner and write that down.
Okay.
Write it down and make a list of things that you prefer in a partner. Now, obviously, you can be lenient with that. It doesn't have to be like this rigid list, but it's good to have like an idea of like the kind of partner you would like. And then what can you wiggle on? Like what can you negotiate on? Like some, and not physical. I'm not talking about physical.
Okay.
Because that doesn't, to me, that doesn't matter, because there's attractive people everywhere. It's what are they like on the inside, and can you deal with that?
Right.
And then another thing, I think, when you're dating and say that they check off most of those, right? Stay with them somewhere overnight, a couple nights, and see how do they throw their clothes on the floor?
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Do they brush their teeth in the morning? Do they not brush their teeth in the morning? Like, I don't know what can you not handle? Like,
you gotta go.
Do they only bring one pair of underwear for 3 days? Like, like, you know what I mean?
Good.
Like that kind of
That's
stuff.
a good analogy.
Do they like watch them in the shower? Do they scrub their legs and their feet?
Do they take a shower or wash up in the sink?
They
standing in the sink.
Like, do they run the water and walk
at
out?
the sink, just washing under their arms.
Yeah, like those are the kinds of things that are really important.
Right.
Like because you honestly, my dad used to say, like, you don't really know somebody until you live with them.
I heard that before.
And I'm not saying move in with them, but I'm saying like take a trip, take a short trip with them after you've been dating a couple months and you feel comfortable with them and you have been to their house. But go into somebody's house, they could clean it up, they could make it, or they could never have you go to their house. There's like so many, like,
that's a sign. Why would you not let me come over?
But there's so many people in situations, especially at our age, where they still stay with their parents.
Oh, that's not.
So
that's not bad.
Right. So it's like, a lot of them don't want to be disrespectful. They're not going to just like have some random person they're talking to come to their house.
Okay.
So because I have friends that are in their 30s that they still live with their parents, but that's because of
trying to get on
the
finances.
It's the economy right now is ridiculous. Like, rent is crazy.
Listen,
it's hard
Jewish
to do
people
anything.
had their family right with them. I ain't mad at them.
Yeah,
on your feet, save your money.
Yeah, it's hard to do anything right now. As a millennial, it's like almost impossible. So, for whatever reason why you can't see how they live, meet them somewhere and go on a trip. Go on a short weekend, like a Thursday to Sunday or something, and really see how they are.
Okay. And during those times, though, when you're seeing how they are and you're interacting, you know, kind of silently watching without saying, you watching for those triggers. Are you doing anything to see any traumas they have? Like, are you intentionally pushing buttons during those times too? Okay.
I would just let them be and just try to enjoy yourself, obviously, but also just make little notes. You know what I mean? Like, do you not like the way that they sleep? Do they snore? Are they a wild? Are they a wild sleeper? Like, you know what I mean? Like, are they hot? Do they get up a million times in the night? Do they drink water in the middle?
Sleep. I'm talking about. And I like woke up. I sat on the side of the bed. I said, "This ain't going." I got my cell phone out, recorded. I said, "This is a. Are you serious?" Next morning, listen to yourself.
Wow.
It's like, I can't even sleep. I'm like, okay, yeah. So I get what you mean, but I'm just like, but when I'm doing all of that, what if I like all of that? Then by the time I see your traumas, like, I tolerate it.
Yeah,
like, I love you. And then a year later, I'm like, wait, I ain't dealing with this. Because you know how when somebody gets together for a trauma wound, because they both have issues, you deal with it. And then when you get healed faster than him, you're like, I'm out of here. You crazy. It's like, sis, I just dealt with you through your healing. What are you talking about?
Oh, that's when you tell them to get it together. And then they got to start healing, because you can't just leave them behind.
Okay.
Right.
That's not how that works. Like,
what's
that's
the steps to that. Like,
that's what we did, honestly. Yeah. I started healing because I started going to therapy.
Okay.
And I think I just like really realized like how crazy my life was.
What made you know though? Like, did he bring that out?
No, we started talking through counseling. Like our counselor would ask us questions, and I told Jalen, I'm sorry that it's always me talking about things, because my counselor kept saying, you need solo sessions. You need solo sessions. You need a single counselor, because like, dude, like you have like a lot of baggage. Like you need to have your own counselor.
Wow.
And Jalen was always like silent in counseling, because I feel like a lot of our surface issues were just because I didn't realize like what I had gone through. And I had like so many things, like even just like aside from my parents, just like from being alive, that needed to be dealt with.
Wow.
So I started like healing and like realizing that, and then that's when Jalen was like, wait, hold on, I think I got something going on too.
Really?
Yeah.
You're so quiet. You don't seem like, because you're so mild mannered, even tempered. Like when I watch, I'm like, yo, he is the bomb. Like he don't let nothing rattle him. He's just like, even just like, what is he thinking?
Yeah, it's like, you know, you can't, like you said, you know, if you can't leave somebody behind.
Okay.
Type deal. You know, we are a team at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
And you know, if one person is way up there and the other player is way back there, well, the whole team is really way back there, because that's how it works. So you know, you gotta follow through.
Okay.
And to a certain degree, it's a humbling experience, because the person, you sit there and think, well, I don't have anything wrong.
Okay.
You know, everything's fine.
Okay. Because you compare to what the other person was. Right, like, I ain't that kind of trauma, y'all.
Exactly. That doesn't apply to you specifically.
Okay.
But when you start to unpack your own past and your own, like, you're looking at things maybe from a third person's point of view, it helps you say, maybe that wasn't quite right.
Okay.
Or maybe, you know, that's why this is that way. Because I saw my dad do this. I saw my mom do this. And that's why I respond in this way or that way. But yeah, like, you know, if you're going to move as a team, then everybody's got to be on the same page.
That's good.
For sure.
That's good.
It may not be the same sentence, but the same page.
Come on. I love your one-liners. Come on here.
I keep going. But
wow.
Yeah. It's something that I'm glad that, you know, we started to initiate. And another thing is that, like, it's not something that either one of us could push on the other person. It's not like you need to go do this, and that's why we're not where we want to be, or that's why this isn't working out. It's like, it's a very, I have to look in the mirror, you have to look in the mirror.
Yeah.
And don't be looking over to see what, like, let Autumn do her thing, Jalen do his thing.
Yeah.
And if we both really want it to work, we will figure it out in our own ways.
Okay.
And we create two strong people that will make a, you know, strong team.
I love it.
Rather than like, what are you doing? You said you're going to be doing this. Why aren't you doing that? And
guilty. Forgive me. Yeah.
It was really hard for me, because I was like, you need to go to therapy.
Now.
I'm going to therapy. You need therapy too.
Right.
You have. And it was like that. Nobody can force him to go to, and it's like, I just stopped. I just was like, if he really wants to be with me, I told him what I need.
Wow.
And if he really loves me, he's gonna listen to me.
Okay.
It may take a little while for him to, because like it's not natural for him. Like it's not in his nature for what it is I was asking for.
Okay.
So, you know, like it's not gonna be perfect.
Okay.
He will still have those moments where I'm like, damn. But so will I.
Right.
Because like it's really hard to reprogram your brain. Like it's really hard to make new pathways.
It takes time.
It's really hard to be positive. Well, for me, I'm naturally a negative person.
Okay.
I'm naturally somebody that is always like, man, everything always goes wrong. Like I'm never gonna have nothing go right for me. I'm always gonna be poor. I'm always gonna be. I'm one of those people.
Wow.
And so I feel like I've come halfway out of that. I still have negativity, but it's not until hit the fan and I'm like, all right, well, but like I'm trying really hard to be mindful
Very
of the
good.
way that I think, because if I think that way, it will happen.
That's right.
If I keep thinking, oh, Khalif's never gonna progress, he's never gonna progress.
Exactly.
If I think he's never gonna talk, he's never gonna talk.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And it's like,
positive.
or I think like I'm never gonna make enough money to afford this, or I'm never gonna make money to afford that. It's like, you know, I need to also. I tried changing my priorities and like what I find to be like valuable to me. It's like I like things, right? I'm a gift person.
Yeah.
That's my love language, is like people giving me gifts or me giving. I love to give gifts.
Okay.
I'm a gift giver and I like to receive gifts, but it's not like, Jalen, you have to give me a gift every single month. It's more like, he was thinking of me and he bought me flowers.
Aww.
You know what I mean? Or like I buy him things a lot because it makes me feel full.
Okay.
But it's like, they're just things, right? They're not like very important.
Okay.
But the way I fill my own cup is buying things for myself.
Nice.
Because that's like what
Right.
I don't
Fill
know.
up
It's
your
like,
love tank.
yeah, even if it's like a Starbucks drink.
Okay.
Even if it's literally nothing, like I don't know, I buy a $2 sticker or like something, but it's like I have to be careful with that, because also I can't just be like spending crazy amounts of money all the time and I have money to pay for anything. But it's just like, that's something Jalen doesn't care. He doesn't about gifts.
Right.
He doesn't care about if I buy him a shirt.
Okay.
He cares about if I helped him do the dishes.
So his love language is acts of service.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like one of them.
Yeah, it's kind of divided.
Mine is all 5, but okay.
Well, Jalen, that was a big thing that we argued about after Khalif was born.
Yeah.
Like this recent issue that we were having was I wasn't taking initiative because I'm somebody that needs to be told, like, hey, I need you to do this or I need you to do that. And Jalen was like, I don't really.
Don't you see it need to be done?
Exactly.
Yes,
And
like what we doing
Jalen's
here.
like, why can't you just do it?
Right, what
And
are we
it was
doing?
I struggled really hard with that because I was like, why can't you just tell me, bro? I don't get it.
See, that's the stuff I
Like,
mean.
Like, why can't he just tell
Okay.
me, yo, I need you to help me? But
I
it's
shouldn't have
like,
to tell you.
but that's how I felt when the baby was born. I was like, he sees me struggling. Why don't he?
I see what you
Why
mean.
I gotta tell him to change the baby's diaper?
Because you got this. You the female. That's what they
Right,
say.
exactly.
Females do that.
Right. But after a year and a half of no help, then I was like, all right, I'm tired of this. Like, you need to me.
Period. Right.
And then it was like another thing. I was like, he watches me do this routine every day, and he don't know what I'm doing. It's the same routine every day. He probably felt the same way. Like, I do the same every day.
Right.
Like, you see me do the dishes every day, Autumn.
Okay.
You see me cook dinner every day. Like, Khalif gets a bath every day.
Right.
And you're telling me you don't know to help me with that?
So how did y'all resolve that? Did you like come to talk about it, or did you guys just tit for tat, or stop doing it? I ain't watching this till you come here and do it, because that's me. I'm petty the bell like that. Like,
Well, the way I work, the way I clean is I wait until it bothers me,
Okay.
and then I do one deep clean. Like, I do one
okay.
big clean. And for dishes, like I'm OCD. Like, I'm crazy. So everything has to be like, I can't see one speck of dirt. I will stand there for hours cleaning dishes. Like,
wow.
Last time Jalen was gone, I did all the dishes, and it literally took me like 2 hours.
Wow.
Because I'm
what in the world?
I don't know. I have like
What
like I have like a
is
mental.
happening?
I can't, like, if I see like Khalif's cups, I have to take them apart and I have to like wash
Let me find out
everything
you Rain
a
Man,
couple
Are
times.
you Rain Man, low key? You seen that movie Rain Man? Let me find out you Rain Man. What?
I have to like wash
Great
them.
movie.
I love it. My
Like,
favorite.
I have to wash them like multiple times.
What?
Make sure there's no residue or anything. I smell them. Make sure they don't smell bad. If they smell bad, I wash
You
them
should be
again and
like an
again and
inspector.
again. It's like
That kind of job. Inspector.
which is why I don't do the dishes, because it stresses me out. I don't like thinking, because I have like health anxiety. So I'm like, oh, there must be mold in this, must be dirt in this, there must be like, and I'm like, it like freaking out over dishes, especially when the baby was a baby. When he was drinking bottles and stuff, I was stressed out. I was like, is this clean?
Can you imagine?
Can I put dish soap in this?
You know, our husbands and wives clean the house together on Saturday or whatever day they choose. Like, all right, honey, I'm gonna do the bathrooms, you do the dishes. You taking 2 hours to do them dishes. I done did the bathroom, the bedroom.
Yeah,
I would be up, you will be getting all the smoke. You doing this on purpose. It don't take me 2 hours to do no dishes, ma'am.
I have
So you gotta learn who doing what.
And that's another thing. Jalen just always did the dishes.
Okay.
Since we've been together, he's always done the dishes. And that took like this mental load off of me because in my house, my dad was a militant, and I had to do the dishes every day for everyone in the house. And if there was any kind of residue or anything, my dad would make me do them again. He would make me do them again, and he would make me do them again, and he would make me do them again. So now, as an adult, I'm thinking, man, is this moldy or whatever? There's just something wrong with it. It smells like spaghetti still, and like I don't know if I'm like psyching myself out or if there's actually something wrong with the dishes, but that's just how it is. So it's like hard for me to want to do the dishes, which is why I need to be told. Like I need him to be like, I need you to help me because I don't want to do it.
Period. Right. Okay.
I don't want to sit there for 2 hours and my fingers hurt from all the water and they're pruning up. And, you know what I mean? Like, and it feels like it's forever that I'm standing there. And then I'll look at my clock and it is forever that I was standing there. And I don't even notice it. It's terrible. I really can't stand it.
So do you guys think from the time you got from dating to marriage to now that there's been any progress from the trauma that you've brought into the relationship? Do you feel as though there been progress or it's still from 0 to 10?
Definitely.
Okay. So the steps are, like you said, recognizing on both parts. I'm taking notes. Think before you speak. And what else did you implement? Like, do you think you're each other's mirror, or is that a violation to be each other's mirror? Because that's what I think in relationships, that we're each other's mirror. I don't know if it's good or bad, but I feel like I'm like looking at you. I'm like, hey, got eye boogers.
Right.
Get that off.
I wouldn't necessarily say that in our relationship.
Okay.
Yeah, we're really different.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
we're completely different.
Okay. She said, what was that laugh? She said,
we're like so different. Okay. Like Jalen is a homebody. He likes to be home. He likes to have hobbies and he likes to be alone.
Okay.
And he likes to focus on one thing at a time versus me. I like to be out. I'm really social. I like to do things outside of the house.
Okay.
I don't want to be home. I like focusing on multiple things at once.
Okay.
I don't know. We're just so different.
Oh.
I'm an extrovert. Jalen, I would say, is an introvert.
Okay.
He can force himself to be extroverted, but then his social battery dies like really fast. And then he's like, I need to go home. Okay. Like, I cannot be here forever.
Okay.
Like, so we don't really go to parties or stuff like that because Jay just... I feel like now, since he's a dad, it's a lot better.
Okay.
But when we were younger, before we had Khalif, he was like, I'm tired of this.
Right.
I'll go to this bar and this bar, but I'm not going to a club. Yeah. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. Okay. You can do that with your friends, but I'm not doing that.
Okay. So I wanted to know, because on the other episode that we did, I wanted you to touch on what would you tell people who were raised in trauma versus the person who inflicted the trauma. Like, what would you say to those people? Because it could be somebody who watched this like now, 10 years from now, that's going to go, because trauma is going to always evolve from different generations, however you're raised, adoption, DIFUS, whatever the case is, or just abusive type parents, because parents have wounds too that they probably go unaddressed and they feel entitled. I'm the parent, I ain't got to do nothing. Like, it's me, deal with it. It's like, oh, really? Tell me how it's working out for you. But what would you say to those parents as we wrap up those parents who refuse to be accountable and just want to keep inducing trauma? And what would you say to the child who, pretty much partook of all of that and is overcoming it? What would you say to help them, like, have hope?
For the parents, if you are refusing to look inward and you really don't think there's anything wrong with you, try to understand your child. Like, try to listen to your child, and I would try your hardest to just be available for your child, like emotionally available for your child, and try to show up in any way that you can, because those are the moments they're going to remember. They're not really going to remember if you took them to get ice cream. They're going to remember that you sat there and listened to them talk about school. Or sat there in their room and helped them do their hair, or like whatever the case is. Like, if you really think there's nothing wrong with you and you're arrived, I would say just focus on your kid. Like, focus on your kid as much as you can. But then you have to have patience, and you have to be in a certain place for that too. So if you feel like you can't do that, then I don't know what to tell you. But for the child, I would say life is never going to be consistent. Like, nothing is ever going to be the same. So just remember, you're not going to be in that situation forever.
Come on.
It's only a season, and then you're going to get out that season, and you're going to realize, damn, I overcame
Come
that.
on.
It was hard. And my mom or dad or both of them didn't understand me. But now I'm however X amount of years old, and now I'm in college, or now I'm
new chapter.
In like a boarding school, and I'm away from them, or I'm just, you'll find it's not you. You know what I mean? It's not you. You can't choose your family.
Ooh, tell it.
So
how do you not harbor bitterness, or do you initially have any overcome it? Like, how do you go through that process?
Honestly, I didn't have any way to process it. Like, I didn't even have a second to think about bitterness. I was just like trying to survive. But once I got into a place where I was comfortable, it wasn't until I was like married, and I think more recently, that I was able to be allowed myself to be bitter for a second. And then I'm sure Jalen was sick of me talking about things constantly, because I kept bringing the same things up
to get it out.
And I just couldn't understand why I couldn't move forward from that either. But then I allowed myself to make boundaries, because I didn't know how to make boundaries, because I had parents that overstepped every single boundary that I ever tried to put in place. So I made myself have boundaries, and I'm not going to cross those boundaries. If that's limiting how much I see them, if that's limiting how much I call them, if that's like not going to certain things, not going to parties, family parties, or whatever it is to protect my mental health, that's what I'm going to do. And just forgive them.
Amen.
Because like forgiveness is for you, it's not for the person.
That's right.
Because they don't, honestly, I feel like a lot of people don't deserve forgiveness, but you can't move forward until you accept and move on and forgive them for doing whatever it is they did.
That's right.
It's going to take a long time, because it took me like 2 years to forgive. It took me at least, and I feel like I keep
10 years to do stuff.
I feel like I keep going back and forth. Like, I keep taking it back and then trying to put it down, and taking it back and putting it down. And I'm still struggling with that, because as a child, it's like, all right, I kind of get it. But as a parent, I could never do those things to my child. So then it put like a different fire in me, because it's like, how could you do that to your child? Like, I actually have a child
people
now.
Hurt people.
Right. So I don't know. It's an everyday thing for me.
Long as
some days I feel upset, and some days I'm like, it's okay.
Right.
You can move on. It's just an everyday thing.
Right. What about you, Jay?
I agree. For the most part, I think the only thing I would say otherwise on is specifically for the person that has all that trauma and they are still single and probably think, oh, I have all this trauma. How can I ever find a serious partner? My husband or wife, or even if they don't want that, just a good boyfriend or girlfriend, whatever it may be. I feel like that person a lot of times, it starts with you. Specifically, it starts with you working on yourself to a
100%.
point where you can attract that other person who's also healthy enough to be that relationship. Because if you don't work on that trauma and you stay you and you're kind of in a victim mindset, you're going to attract somebody else who's just like
Preach.
that. Rather than you say, I'm going to go set those boundaries with my parents, and my aunts and uncles, my cousins, my friends. I'm going to go work on my relationship with money. I'm going to go work on what is it exactly do I believe about religion, or you know, I'm going to grow myself in all of these like fundamental areas of my life. So I have boundaries and I have core values and I know what those are.
Yes.
And I'm happy with me.
Yes.
Then once you do run into somebody, like first of all, there's no gray area. You can probably immediately tell, I'll date this person, or yes or no. And then if they are, you know, serious, it'll probably very quickly be apparent to you that, hey, this person is on my level as far as where I am as a human being.
That's good.
And then you take it from there.
That's good.
But it has to start with you.
That's good.
Because if not, you just keep doing the same.
Yes.
I want to say 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2. 1 + 1 equals a whole.
Come on here.
You have to be one whole person one whole person to make a pie. You can't just come in as a half a person and find a half a person and think that it's gonna right. You have to be whole already.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it's a lot of work.
And it's worth the work. It's worth
it. It's worth it, but it's a lot of work.
Because you got to do it whether you by yourself or with another person. But I notice when you're with another person, that's what I meant about being that mirror. Because if you by yourself, you can deceive yourself. Like, I'm fine. I don't have no issues. Yeah. And then you get with someone and they hit that time bomb, like, oh, I didn't know I had. Wait, did he just hit that tripwire? Like, I thought I was fine. Yeah, you've been single for 15,000 years.
Yeah.
No one was there to push those triggers. So you thought you was like,
yeah.
So it's just like, oh. And I love what you said about attraction, about working on yourself. Because if you don't work on yourself, you're going to attract who you are. Right. You're not going to attract what you think you want. Like this poly perfect something. It's like, no, you're not that.
Right.
Ma'am, sir.
Yeah.
So you're going to attract who you are. Right. And it's like, oh, why I keep getting these toxic people? Why I keep getting these people that's not whole or manipulative? It's like, look in the mirror. It's like, what's that? But that's what I mean about that mirror, because someone else have to see that to tell you that, because you'll lie to yourself.
I see.
So that was
and
really
good.
Funny
thing is that applies pretty much everywhere else in your life too, like your friends.
Oh, yes.
If you hang around the same group of people, that's just naturally kind of who you are.
Yes.
And like, if you know, you got to pick and choose very carefully who you want to be with, because eventually you're all going to be on the same level. So
that's good.
It's funny because like you look at really successful people, usually they don't have friends that are like bums.
Come on here.
Just doesn't work that way.
Period.
And if they do, they get in some trouble with them. And then they're stuck with the bill.
Right.
Come on.
That's like, it just makes me think of like football players when they come out the hood and all their hood friends want to follow them everywhere and go with them everywhere. And then they like, bro,
right.
I just because I got this money don't mean, you know, and now they're changing as a person, because like, I feel like poverty really makes you a different person because you're in survival.
Yeah.
And now they're not in survival no more. And now they're like, damn, like, you know, I'm not really struggling like that no more. I ain't got to go to the corner anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
boundaries.
It's the same thing with like mental health and like healing. You can't be on the corner and expect to get a millionaire.
Come on here.
Right.
Come on, drop those
put
gems.
A buck in my cup and you're on the corner. Spare change, ma'am. And they're like getting in their Tesla.
Yeah. That's good.
Don't work like that.
That's good. So I hope whoever logs in, whenever you log in, that you are blessed and encouraged by this episode. There is life after trauma. There is healing after trauma, but you have to do the work.
Right.
It's worth the work, isn't it? Yeah, I'm so thankful for you guys. We're going to definitely come together again for more episodes, because there's so much to unpack. And thank you guys for tuning in. For sure. Have a great night. My pleasure. Love you guys.
Love you too.